scone. Oh my gosh. Fresh fruit in a scone? Yes, please. Everything gets made right in your food processor. So add 2.5 cups of all-purpose flour to a food processor. If you don't have one, that's okay. You can also make this by hand, but we like to use them because they're very quick and efficient. So we use them. But if you don't have one, don't worry about it. Just mix everything together in a bowl, cut the butter in by hand, you know. 1/4 cup of sugar, a tablespoon of baking powder, and 3/4 of a teaspoon of kosher salt. Pulse to combine. Then you add a stick of butter, cold and cut up into cubes, and pulse that until it's the texture of basically coarse crumbs with some pea-sized pieces left. Don't overdo it because you're going to pulse in 3/4 of a cup of buttermilk whisked with 1 egg yolk. So you don't want to overdo it because it's the little bits of butter that add the flakiness to your scones. Add your wet ingredients and then just pulse to combine and moisten all of your flour. Don't worry about getting it too mixed together because you're going to need it a little bit on the board. So like I said, treat this with delicacy. Like a delicate flour. You can lightly flour your surface and then transfer the mixture to that surface. It's still very, very crumbly, and that's totally okay. It hasn't come together as a dough, which is what you want, because if it's already a dough, it's going to start getting tough because it will have been overmixed. Just press it into a rectangle that's about 1 inch high, and then put your raspberries on top. It's 6 ounces of raspberries. Oops. And I'm going to fold them in. Seems like a lot of raspberries, but once you fold the dough over it and knead it once or twice, you'll see what happens. Sort of mushes in there. You are mushing some of the berries, and that's okay because you got to get them embedded into the dough somehow. But a lot of them will be left quite intact, which is great with this method. Okay. Some mushed, some whole. Great. Make sure your oven is preheating to 400 degrees. This makes 6 scones, so if you want more, you can definitely and very easily double or triple this. And in fact, if you want blueberry, you can use blueberry or blackberry or whatever berry you want. This makes 6, so I'm just going to sort of cut it down the center. You can scoop it, you can cut it. It's very free form, so I'm just going to use a spoon here. Roughly form them into mounds, I guess, and then transfer to your parchment-lined baking sheet. Make sure that you give them about 2 inches between each one so there's plenty of room for them to rise. Sprinkle with a little bit of sugar, about a tablespoon between them. This guy is way too small, so that is not acceptable. Just gonna pull a little. This is a pretty forgiving dough, so you can just sort of pull a little off and stick it on. All right, it's a mess here, but I'm gonna get these into the oven and then clean up. Bake until golden brown and cooked through, rotating halfway through, about 15 to 18 minutes. When the scones come out of the oven, you want to let them cool. Look how cute they are. Once you start making these scones, you're going to want to make them all summer long with all of your favorite fruits. Give it a try. If you like recipes like this and you want more, make sure to click like and subscribe because we have plenty more where this came from.